Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. By viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Monday, December 13th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. California's mask mandate is back. Effective Wednesday, you will have to wear a mask when you're indoors. KPBS reporter Kitty Alvarado explains why state officials reinstated the policy.
COVID cases are on the rise again after the Thanksgiving holiday.
Since Thanksgiving, so over the past 2.5 weeks, we have seen a 47% increase in case rates across California.
That, combined with the uncertainty of the Omicron variant, including the UK's first death from that mutant strain, have prompted the state's Health and Human Services Secretary, Dr. Mark Gale, to issue 3 new COVID mandates that will take effect on Wednesday and go through January 15th.
We will require universal masking in indoor public settings statewide. This will cover about 50% of the state's population that currently lives in counties that do not have a similar mandate.
The state will also require unvaccinated people attending mega events greater than 1,000 or more people to provide a negative COVID test that is 1 or 2 days old, depending on the type of test, down from 3 days. And
third, a recommendation that travelers who return or visit California do get tested within 3 to 5 days of their arrival.
Dr. Abby Ululade from Sharpry Staley Medical Group says the numbers of hospitalizations and community spread are already up in the county.
So that is extremely concerning because we haven't even seen the effects of the December holiday. We haven't seen the effects of New Year's. So there is a concern that things could get worse.
She says it's not too late to prevent a repeat from last winter if we all do our part now. Kitty Alvarado, KPBS News.
The San Diego Unified School District's COVID vaccination mandate could be considered by the U.S. Supreme Court. Attorneys representing a 16-year-old Scripps Ranch High School student filed an emergency application to stop the mandate. It requires eligible students 16 and up to be fully vaccinated in order to attend classes in person. The student wants a religious exemption, which is not allowed by the district. Today, an attorney for San Diego Unified issued a statement saying this development changes nothing, and the district will continue to defend its program. A hearing got underway today for a sailor accused of setting the fire that destroyed the USS Bonhomme Richard. KPBS military reporter Steve Walsh is live at Naval Base San Diego with the latest. Steve, what can you tell us?
So 20-year-old seaman apprentice Ryan Sawyer Mays was in court for the first time today. He is charged with hazarding a vessel and arson in the fire that burned along the San Diego waterfront for more than 4 days back in 2020. This actually happened only several yards away from this courthouse. Most of the day was spent with ATF agent Matt Beals. ATF determined the fire started in the lower vehicle deck. Rows of cardboard boxes were stacked 2 deep almost to the ceiling. Beals said some sort of fuel or fire starter was needed for the fire to burn so quickly. Now, the defense counsel pressed the ATF agent on what evidence they actually had that tied Mays to the crime. They found a lighter in his room. Mays sometimes contradicted himself during hours of interviews. So it's clear that most of this case is going to turn on eyewitness testimony that places Mays at the scene of the crime about the time that the fire happened. Prosecutors plan to call several witnesses over the next couple of days. The problem will be this is the height of COVID protocols, keep in mind, and everyone was wearing a mask. Confusion also permeated the Bonhomme Richard. The ship was undergoing maintenance, and the crew was just moving back on board the Sunday when the fire started. There are also questions over whether defense experts had enough time to actually look at the ship before it was decommissioned. We also learned today that the investigation centered around another sailor for a time. That sailor was actually kicked out for misconduct, kicked out from the Navy. This case is starting here today with the Navy's version of a grand jury. The hearing officer will have to decide whether there's enough evidence to send Mays to a court-martial. We're going to be back here for day 2 tomorrow. From Naval Base San Diego, I'm Steve Walsh.
A powerful storm is heading toward San Diego County, bringing rain, snow, and even gale force winds. KPBS Peak City Heights reporter Jacob Ayer shows us how communities are preparing for the winter weather.
Ahead of the strong winds and periods of heavy rain expected to hit the San Diego region Tuesday morning, local residents were able to fill up free sandbags at multiple unincorporated areas across the county. Dan Weber was loading up on sandbags at Bonita Sunnyside Fire Station to help out the owner of Spring Valley Inn prepare for the storm.
The rain goes down the hill and then it goes in the back door. So we're going to put sandbags there so it doesn't go through the back door now and mess the carpet up because we got brand new carpet put in this place.
The upcoming storm also has a chance for thunder and lightning and even snow above 5,000 feet. National Weather Service meteorologist Alex Tardy says the extra precipitation is a welcome relief for drought-ridden California.
Now, will this be enough as a drought buster? Definitely not. So after this storm, because we're expecting 1 to 2 inches of rain everywhere, that'll put us right on track where we should be this time of year.
This storm also brings a potential for gale force winds from early Tuesday through early Wednesday. That means rough, choppy surf with local sets as high as 8 to 9 feet. And on land, there's the potential for falling objects. CAL FIRE San Diego Captain Frank Lococo says they have 2 swift water rescue teams on standby, and people need to take this weather system seriously.
When you couple that high level of precipitation with a strong wind, the potential for trees, even healthy trees, being toppled over, power poles being toppled over, that increases as well as the ground gets saturated.
While the storm is supposed to pass by Wednesday, temperatures are expected to stay below average for the remainder of the week, with a chance of some light precipitation late Thursday and into Friday. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
A blood shortage is looming in San Diego County, and hospitals are worried that they may have to start postponing surgeries. A recent increase in demand for blood, coupled with challenges running blood drives during the pandemic, are creating a lack of blood units. Any blood type is needed, but type O blood is especially needed as it is the universal type. You can make an appointment at redcross.org or san diego blood bank.org, and when you give, you will also receive a $10 gift card from the Red Cross if you donate by Thursday this week. Even during the busy holiday travel season, the San Diego International Airport is building toward the future. KPBS reporter Melissa May was there for today's groundbreaking ceremony.
After years of planning, construction for the new Terminal 1 at the San Diego International Airport has begun.
But airports connect us. They connect our economy. They take you to see your family. They take you on vacation. They bring your kids home from college.
County Board Chair Nathan Fletcher describes the project labor agreement for the new terminal.
And that project labor agreement is going to make sure it gets built right. It's going to make sure it gets built on time, and it's going to make sure that we do our part to building the health of our community with jobs where people can afford to send their kids to college. They can afford to buy a home.
David Kim is the secretary for the California State Transportation Agency and talks about the number of jobs that will be created in the Airport Authority's Small Business Development Program.
This new project will create 15,000 to 20,000 new jobs. That is incredible. 25% will go to small business enterprises. 80% will go to local businesses, and 3% will go to veteran-owned small businesses.
30 new gates will be added to the airport for a total of 62 gates, along with new shopping and dining facilities, and even an outdoor patio that has views that overlook the bay. Kimberly Becker is the Airport Authority President and CEO and says this project will incorporate energy and water conservation and clean air initiatives.
Our airfield improvements will create more efficiency and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. We have an expanded stormwater capture and reuse system.
The new T1, along with the rest of the airport, will be powered by 100% renewable, carbon-free electricity. Space is also set aside to accommodate future public transportation directly to the airport. Melissa May, KPBS News.
California's utility regulators are making solar more expensive for the state's residents. They are proposing flat connection fees and sharply lower prices for solar utilities buyback from rooftop solar owners. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson has more on the future of the state's solar power industry.
Yeah, there's just like this thin glass.
Gabe Von Welsheim lifts up a solar panel destined for a San Diego rooftop.
So this is glass, and then the cells are actually behind the glass there, and then it's all enclosed from the back.
Von Welsheim founded Aloha Solar 2 years ago, and business is brisk. This installation in Del Mar will be up and running in a day. And Von Welsheim says another crew is working at a different location.
You produce the energy whenever you want. You can pull it back kind of whenever you want.
There's consumer interest in solar because it saves customers money and helps the environment. The California Public Utilities Commission set up rules for solar known as net energy metering, which locks in the price of electricity that residents sell back to utilities. And the current version also requires a small monthly fee to pay for fixed costs.
It's agreement locked in, and the agreement is pretty favorable for solar customers right now. And then net metering 3.0 is the next phase, and there's some uncertainty as if it'll be, it definitely will be less favorable. How less favorable is to be determined.
The state's investor-owned utilities are asking for major changes. They want to slash the price of electricity they're required to buy from homeowners who install solar systems. And they want to charge a monthly grid connection fee that could be up to $90 a month. They argue solar customers are saving money at the expense of their neighbors. San Diego Gas and Electric declined an opportunity to discuss their position, steering KPBS to surrogates like the Utility Reform Network or TURN.
For future customers, future solar customers, let's bring the subsidy in alignment with the fact that costs of solar installation are dramatically less than they were once upon a time.
Mark Toney is the group's executive director, and he says the solar subsidy needs to be cut in California because the state's electricity prices are already some of the most expensive in the nation.
In San Diego, we estimate that that's about $260 a year that non-solar customers are paying extra. And what we'd like to see is we'd like to bring that down so that the customers who don't own solar get a little bit of a break because prices are just too high.
The cost shift argument is a common talking point for groups like TURN and the Natural Resources Defense Council, which have aligned their reform proposals with the utilities. They argue that electric customers without solar pay higher prices for electricity because solar customers are buying less. That allows solar customers to avoid paying for grid maintenance, transmission lines, and wildfire mitigation costs baked into the rates. The NRDC estimates only about 15% of the retail cost of a kilowatt hour pays for solar subsidies. Bernadette Del Chiaro is the executive director of the California Solar and Storage Association, and she says the investor-owned utilities are flexing their financial muscles.
They have so much power and influence, and they hire PR firms with millions of dollars to spend, and they effectively shape the whole debate and take something that's kind of confusing and make it seem like it's a very difficult decision.
While KPBS couldn't ask SDG&E any questions directly, they did email a statement. Utility officials said they've been working on net energy metering reforms for the past year and are eager to see the system's inequities addressed. Del Chiaro says the company is too focused on profit.
Instead of looking at how to improve upon net metering and make it better for people with lower income, people in apartment buildings, people that are faced with repeated grid outages, instead they're saying, let's just take the guillotine to this program and make solar twice as expensive and completely inaccessible to everybody.
The solar market reforms won't be finalized until early next year, and any preliminary plans could change before the California Public Utilities Commission votes on them. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Search and rescue teams from California are on their way to the tornado-ravaged Midwest and Southeast. As Daryl Forges shows us, the death toll and the damage continue to climb.
The age range is 5 months to 86 years, and 6 are younger than 18.
The death and devastation overwhelming Kentucky's governor as he announces the ages of some of those killed following this past weekend's deadly storms.
Help keeps pouring in from all over the country. Thank you.
The fast-moving storm system swept through 8 states, destroying thousands of structures, flattening entire communities.
Glass broken, all the furniture's torn up, broken. It's just sad.
The death toll expected to rise. Among those killed, 29-year-old Navy veteran Clayton Cope, who died when a tornado caused an Amazon warehouse in Illinois to collapse.
He was a wonderful, caring person, and that his presence will be a huge void in so many lives.
Federal officials promising to offer whatever help is needed, but the damage is catastrophic.
We're going to stay as long as it takes to help them.
Now, on the 3rd day of recovery efforts, the sheer scope of the work ahead is becoming apparent to those who have lost everything.
You know, where we're standing, it's going to be weeks on end, and I say weeks, and it could be longer.
Daryl Forges, KPBS News.
Well, our next storm system has finally arrived, and it's going to bring some much-needed rainfall from tonight into early Tuesday morning. We'll see conditions improving throughout the day on Tuesday, though. It's likely only going to be an overnight event when it comes to that rain. High wind warnings and wind advisories have also been posted. Do expect gusty conditions across the higher terrain, and there's a cooling trend that follows beyond it here. So again, we have some wind advisories for coastal areas from Oceanside down towards Chula Vista, and then in the mountains, Borrego Springs, Pine Valley, Julian, we're looking at high wind warnings out there for you. Heading into tonight, temperatures fall off into the low 50s from Oceanside down towards Escondido, upper 40s in Ramona, Borrego Springs getting down into the mid 40s. And then your Tuesday features another wet day, mainly for central and southern parts of California. Across the higher terrain, the snow will be coming on down. And when all said and done, from Los Angeles down towards San Diego, looking at 1 to 2 inches of rain in the forecast. Again, that lasts through early Tuesday. And in some of the higher terrain, it's possible we get a quick coating across southern parts of California of snow. Again, not looking at much in the way of accumulation in Southern California, but potentially 6 to 12 inches a little bit further north up towards Big Bear Lake. For your Tuesday, temperatures are in the low 60s in Oceanside, low 60s in San Diego, El Cajon getting up to 57, mid 60s in Borrego Springs. And again, just about everyone has some wet weather there in the forecast. And then heading towards Wednesday, our next storm system begins to push further south. So near the coast, rain on Tuesday, but sunshine returns after that, and temperatures are going to sit in the upper 50s to low 60s. Further inland, we go from the 50s back into the 60s as we look ahead towards Friday and Saturday, but a couple of cool days likely ahead. In the mountains, temperatures generally sitting in the 40s through Thursday, cooling off into the 30s as we head towards Friday and Saturday with plenty of sunshine. And in the deserts, temperatures sitting from the mid 60s back into the low 60s beyond Wednesday, with again more in the way of sunshine to look forward to. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Jessica Pash.
The sea lions in Point La Jolla are a huge tourist attraction, but a local environmental organization says people are harassing the wild animals. KPBS reporter Melissa May has the details and some local reaction.
So we're just a bit too close. So if you could move up to this area here, that's very safe. Thank you so much.
Carol Toy is a volunteer for the Sierra Club Seal Society. Her group and the Sierra Club's San Diego chapter are urging Mayor Todd Gloria and the city of San Diego to close the sea lion rookery at Point La Jolla and Boomer Beach.
The issue is that people are getting too close. Some of that will lead to harassment, as it's defined by the Marine Mammal Protection Act, but also they will just be preventing the sea lions from using the area and also putting themselves in danger.
Extreme forms of harassment involve people touching, kicking, and even kicking sand at the sea lions.
The other form of harassment is actually modifying their behavior. So that is things like interfering with on the nursing of pups and mums.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration does have guidelines in place that people should stay at least 50 feet away from these sea lions. Unfortunately, the Sierra Club volunteers are the only ones here to encourage people to keep their distance. Signs like these were put into place in June of this year, but they don't do much to deter people from climbing over this wall and getting dangerously too close to these wild animals. The city is currently working on a new coastal development permit for next summer, but during the California Coastal Commission meeting in November, many officials said something needs to be done now. Commissioner Sarah Amanzada said the sea lion situation has been an issue for years.
I've seen it myself, and it is quite disturbing and a really pervasive issue.
Locals like Bay Park resident William Rodriguez love this area, but think people should respect the sea lion space.
The animals are beautiful. This is a very nice place. However, they should keep a distance and leave them alone. You know, I mean, it's like me looking at you in the morning and, you know, you trying to take a rest or something and, you know, somebody's watching you.
Both Sierra Club branches hope to meet with Mayor Gloria and have the city issue an emergency closure like they did back in August until the coastal development plan is completed. Melissa May, KPBS News.
One of America's most accomplished athletes is bringing her game to San Diego. The San Diego Wave formally announced soccer star Alex Morgan as a member of the new expansion team. The Wave is part of the National Women's Soccer League. Morgan is arguably the biggest star of Team USA, which has won several World Cups and Olympic medals in recent years. The Wave will play their first season at USD's Torero Stadium. The work of Dr. Seuss is everywhere, especially the Grinch around Christmas time. But as KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne shows us, an exhibit in Solana Beach also shares a secret side of Seuss that not many have seen.
Thing 1 and Thing 2, The Grinch and The Cat in the Hat, all well-known characters from Dr. Seuss's imagination, but not so well known, his secret midnight art.
The secret art of Dr. Seuss, or the Midnight Paintings, which is what nobody knew, that he was actually a fine artist while he was living. So this is that's why it's called the secret art. Now, not so secret.
Cynthia Celestino is the gallery director at Exclusive Collections Gallery in Solana Beach. This is where the Art of Dr. Seuss collection will be showcased until December 31st. Visitors are greeted by the infamous Cat in the Hat artwork, but turn the corner and visitors get to see a different side of Dr. Seuss.
Like, people always get amazed and say, oh my gosh, I didn't even know he was a painter. Like, this doesn't even look like Dr. Seuss. But now that you told me it's Dr. Seuss, I can see a little Seussy reaction, you know, on there. It's a little, some of them a little naughty, some of them, you know, it's just funny, and there is a lot of cats.
Colorful, never-before-seen pieces of wacky and three-dimensional shapes show Dr. Seuss's artistic range. But the meaning behind the art isn't all that clear.
But maybe there was a crazy band playing, or because look at all these characters. So it's like, it's interesting, just like his imagination.
The art displayed aren't originals. Instead, they are authorized limited edition prints. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
Vicente Fernandez, a legendary Mexican singer and multiple Grammy winner, has died. Fernandez was known for hits such as El Rey and Volver Volver. His family said he died Sunday in a hospital in Jalisco State. Fans in Mexico and the U.S. have been paying tribute to the singer. This morning, more flowers were placed on his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Vicente Fernandez was 81 years old. Anne Rice, the author known for her best-selling novel Interview with the Vampire, has died. Rice's son announced on her Facebook page that she died Saturday due to complications from a stroke. Her 1976 novel was adapted into a movie and is expected to be portrayed in a TV series next year. She went on to write more than 30 books. Anne Rice was 80 years old. Godzilla is making his presence known this holiday season. As KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando shows us, Japan's towering pop culture icon is flooding the U.S. market with products.
Gojira, or Godzilla as he's known in the United States, roared into existence in 1954 as a social commentary about the war and the role of science in creating weapons of mass destruction. He then came to anchor one of the longest-running and most successful film franchises in history. And at 67, he shows no signs of retiring.
Godzilla.
With Godzilla vs. Kong earlier this year, Toho and its giant monster continued a mission to make a bigger imprint on the U.S. market.
So my job is to kind of oversee the creative, brand, product development, you name it, for Godzilla, everywhere outside of Japan.
Chris Mowry wrote the long-running IDW Godzilla comics and now puts his passion for the kaiju creation to work as Toho International's creative manager.
So the new series that we just launched is called Godzilla Chomp, and it's basically kind of like a Godzilla 101 in a way, and it gives some insight into what we do at Toho International in LA. But we're filling it with a lot of stuff for hardcore fans as well.
Toho is also partnering with Super 7 and Mondo, companies that know how to cater to geeky fans. And for fans with a kaiju-sized gift budget, there are high-end items like a pinball machine.
It's basically this love letter to Godzilla and especially the Showa era.
As a fan celebrating Godzilla's 67th and Hedorah's 50th anniversary, let me just say that my holiday gift list got pretty extensive. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
You can find that story and others on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley. And by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.